Fans, welcome to another edition of Xtreme Memories right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. My name is Kris Kloss. I am your host. And this other iteration of Xtreme Memories has been a blast. The watch-alongs, reaction videos. So like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. The more subscribers we get, the more great content we can bring to you like this. Xtreme Memories on the 15th and the 30th of every single month. Drop a comment, fans. Also, we don't want to just interview the stars of XPW or guys that were on the crew behind the cameras. We want to interview some of the hardcore fans that were there, that lived it with us. If it wasn't for you, none of that would have been possible. So drop a comment. Let us know if you're interested about coming on Xtreme Memories. Without any further ado, we want to welcome back to Xtreme Memories. He was here with the original iteration with the interviews. He was here for the special Dark Side of the Ring Xtreme Memories show. And we had him on for a reaction watch along as well. He is back. He is Angel. Right there.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
You gotta look the other way. You gotta look the other way.
Do I?
There you are. There
you
are.
are.
A little Brady Bunch action we're doing here. So yeah, this is going to be episode number 69, Angel, from October 20th of 2001. But Angel, welcome back to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. Great to have you back on here. We had so much fun the last time, so let's do it again. Why the hell not? This is XPW 69. We're going to get into this 2001 era, October 20th, 2001 era of XPW. Exciting time. Of course, big popular time in the industry still. And this is going into your legendary feud with the now WWE's Ryan Katz, GQ Money, and good stuff with you guys amongst a plethora of other antics and the circus that was XPW and XPW TV. So are you ready, my friend?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so fans, once again, if you're listening on audio only, go ahead and go to YouTube, turn the audio down, listen to us, and type in XPW TV number 69. And that, again, is from October 20th, 2001. And start it right when I count down to 5. If you have to get those YouTube commercials out of the way, get them out of the way, and then go ahead and start it. Once again, fans, TW Chatter, that's how you find us on Instagram and X. So without any further ado, once again, this is Xtreme Memories, and this is another watch-along reaction video to this historic time in pro wrestling history, XPW TV, episode number 69, back from 2001 in 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. Oh, the sights and sounds, right? Well, the sights, I should say.
All the crazy stuff.
All the crazy stuff. And how much of it was there? A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Pizza Cutter, Pizza Time from Vic Grimes. Look at that. Oh, the late John Cronus, the late New Jack.
Yeah, wow. Enterprise. Look at that.
Yeah, the motivational speaker, TJ Rush. And there's Chaos. Oh, Damian Steele, one of the originals. That's when he came back. There's Conan. Psychosis. There's Vic Grimes. Supreme. I believe that was Rob. There's Sabu and Damian Steele. And Chaos.
Well,
most of this footage. Yeah. Sandman, Cronus, New Jack, Jimmy, right? Down there? Yeah. I think so. Yeah. There's the late felon.
Yeah.
That's right. There's Rob coming off the table. That was filmed by accident. Tony T accidentally had the camera tilted to the side, but it ended up being a cool effect, Terry Funk's face sideways. Most of all this footage here is from the Grand Olympic Auditorium.
That was the thing. I mean, every time we would have a new show, Webb, who was the editor, would always add new footage to it. So, you know, it takes a little bit to do this. So,
yes,
you know,
this is just you don't just throw it together. No.
Yeah.
And
this is how much stuff can happen at shows, because look how much footage sometimes you're seeing. You know?
Yeah, and this was once a week.
Yeah.
Double A Spinebuster. Look at that. Dynamite D. Oh, remember that night?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So many crazy nights like that. So many crazy nights. So great being at the Grand Olympic. I mean, such a historic venue.
Crack.
Yeah. The crack. Oh, Gurentai. Oh, you remember when that happened? They just did that, and it was like shards of glass went way up into the audience.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they were doing. They wanted to do the Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, man.
God, Cronus is a big dude. He can still do 450s.
Pretty impressive, yeah. That was Terry Funk at the sports arena, but as you could see the sign right there, this is all the Grand Olympic here. And this was at a time 2001 into 2002 where we were regulars at the Olympic.
Yeah.
We were and you know what? As much as I personally love being at the sports arena because it's where I grew up going to wrestling, this really was the quintessential wrestling venue of the West Coast, because this was where the Hollywood territory was. Gorgeous George went through this place. I mean, there's so much freaking history here.
You see everybody, the writing, when you literally writing on the wall, remember that? You walk in and be writing, all the people who did it would sign their autographs, you know, on that wall.
Right.
That wall was covered in autographs.
Yeah, and what an honor to be on that wall. Yeah, this was where we were standing in front of the X. So this was at the North Hollywood office. And
yeah, because that's,
we could get some audio here and see what we're talking about.
Halloween in hell, whew, an incredible night of action, all kind of stuff going down in the history books. But the most important piece of information that came out of that night is that the Robert Black Army is still in control of the XPW World Heavyweight.
You know, things almost slipped away from the Black Army after the fast one they tried to pull. I mean, we all heard about this supposed mystery opponent, the white trash Johnny Webb. I, for one, was convinced that Rob Black was going to use Webb as a transition, a token champion, if you will, and use this mystery opponent stipulation to put the title around the waist of his chosen champ. But Black fooled us all when he made Webb's opponent Leroy the Ring Crew guy. Webb pinned Leroy in less than 20 seconds and then offered him a second chance. Again, Webb defeated the Ring Crew guy in under 1 minute. But the joke would be on the Black Army and Webb, as out of nowhere came Vampiro, back from Japan and back in XPW. Can't challenge Webb in the champ, perhaps drunk with power, perhaps drunk off his booze, accepted as Rob tried to convince him not to. But before Webb and Vampiro could lock up, the ever-pervasive Major Gunn made her way to the ring and asked Webb, is he willing to accept another challenge? Webb said that he would fight her any day, and therefore he accepted. But Gunn then pointed out that the challenger was not her, but rather the Sandman Rivera. Can you believe it?
So now, the match was XPW World Champion, White Trash, Johnny Webb, defending the title against not one, but both the Vampiro, and the Sandman, when all he was supposed to do was defend the goal against the RCG. But the superior ability of Johnny Webb and the genius of Mr. Robert Black together let Webb retain the XPW World Heavyweight title.
Can you take the volume?
Only Black Army highlight of the.
Okay, so we kind of get the gist of what's going on. Now, when Webb came off the ring apron, oh, now I'm talking about hanging out with La Familia. I'm down with them, dude. But yeah, Webb tore his knee up. That's where he tore his knee up on that spot.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
When you saw that, fans, he dove and the ladder ricocheted up like that. That was I guess was ACL, right?
Yeah, because he was out for.
That was that was, and even when he came back, he was limited and he didn't do much. But boy, this was so fun, man.
Becoming the Web, you know.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say, yeah, I was just gonna say right here, these moments, man, going out to the ring to intro the show with Rivera, and now it was just me. But boy, the fans were so already rabid and pumped up. There was such a murmur in the crowd. Like you said, we always started late, but there was such a buzz, and I would get nervous, man, going out, because they were just so hungry, man, and it was great. It was just awesome, man, to right before all the action was started, everyone was just ready to go, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was ready to go. And he just hype them up, and he didn't really need to, because they were already set, man.
I mean, look at
this was Halloween.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's this Halloween in town too. And I think the only reason we do it at the Pico Sports Arena that day is because they were going to do the exploding match. So they couldn't do it at the Olympic. So they went to the Pico Sports Arena.
Right.
Because they had to be outdoors, obviously, because of the fire marshals making sure the fans were far back.
Yeah.
The explosions. And this might be the first time in America there was actually an exploding anything.
Yeah, right. That's right. And of course, someone always just interrupts me, and I have no idea why. Every single show. Every single show is what's going on? Like, what's going on here? Wait, do you know anything about this? Yep. So I want to say this place was a 15,000 seat venue or something.
It was big. I remember that.
Yeah. It was a big place. And I mean, that was they did bull. Didn't they do bullfighting back in the day?
They still did. They did it there because you saw the bulls backstage, not backstage where we were, but if you walked around the venue a little bit, they kept some bulls there.
Yeah, the corrals. I think that's done, though. I think they're no longer allowed to do that in America, if I'm not mistaken.
It wasn't bullfighting, but they still did the rodeo stuff.
Right. Okay, the rodeo stuff. Yeah. But I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but early days, Pico Rivera Sports Arena, when that first was constructed, like they were still doing that in America, if I remember, in the Mexican communities. I want to say that's what I heard during this time right here when we were there. I could be dead wrong on that. I'm not sure.
I just realized this is a funny story. My family used to go to church, and they used to have like this big revival thing where all the churches came together when I was a kid, and they actually used to do it at the Pico Rivera Sports Arena. So as a kid, I was probably sitting in those grandstands, watching whatever pastors or whatever else. And here I am now going to be wrestling in it.
Well, the church didn't teach you much, did it? You went the other way.
Taught me how to be a hardcore homo.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, you were a baby, so you didn't hear what they were saying, so it didn't register.
Yeah, but I remember. Yeah, I was. I just remembered that. Yeah, because I had been there before when we first came here. I was like, oh, I know that place.
Small world sometimes. So names were coming in, and we were getting guys like not only from WCW and ECW, but obviously Conan and Hoovy were in WCW, but these guys were stars really in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
And Psychosis, Halloween, Damien 666, even Lady Victoria. So we really had a broad fan base at this time connecting and watching the product. And we had the luxury, like we talked about before, of not only having just the TV studio ready to go, but look at this. We had Rob's money. These guys weren't cheap.
It was great because you got to see a little of everything: Lucha Libre, extreme stuff, wrestling, guys from ECW. So it was a mixture of, it was a great show because it just wasn't one thing.
Right. I think people kind of forget that now with, like, for example, the XPW 3.0 version. It's like, well, where's the death match? Where's the death match? Where's the other death match? It's like, well, dude, if you really look back at XPW, not every match was a death match.
Nope.
No.
It was usually one.
Sorry?
It was usually just one. And he mostly always had Supreme in it because he was usually the deathmatch champion.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know where that perception came from. Like, I noticed that when the new iteration of XPW, like, well, what is this? It's not a death match. It's not. Like, dude, look back at the old footage, man. They're not all death matches. And then, but it was the product. It was the product and the time that I think people were like feeling today. Why am I not feeling this grittiness? It must be because I'm not getting another death match. It's like, no, dude, the product and the time, dude. It was sexy. It was dark. It was bloody. It was all that.
And we had the characters. Everybody had a character. It was so great. You could work off the character, everybody had a storyline, a reason why they did stuff.
Yeah. And there was,
mm-hmm. I can't remember why Rob's interfering with this, but obviously, if we look back, there's probably a storyline involved in it.
Yeah. Do we want to get some audio here? See what he has to say?
My musical skit. You see, I don't know what you think you're trying to prove here. You see, I didn't invite you. That piece of shit television station, KJLA, that's owned by them. Let me tell you something. What's worse than 7 is a crowd full of nerds.
Oh, Rob Black just got nailed by Conan.
He tried to explain it to Mr. Black. Never told him a word.
How in the world can you support that scum? You're Latino.
You want to Conan? Tonight you're fighting Indian Steel.
Whoa! Did you hear that?
How Indian? You're fighting crack. Hey, John Cronus.
What a match that should be!
And Hoopy, I thought I fired your ass a long time ago. You're gonna fight Psychosis.
What the hell? Psychosis and Hoopy!
Here's the thing, I'm only gonna pay one of you. And the one who loses gets a bag of oranges.
Croc really loves that one.
Get the out of here.
Probably loves the shape of those oranges. 2 of them.
Hey, you know, Kris Kloss, you talk about who being down the line on Latino. This is a very hard decision for me.
Hard decision. I know where your legion
I'm with
lies.
the black, but my heart leads with the Latino, the Hispanic that is in the ring. And a very hard decision for me at the present time.
I feel sorry for you.
All right. Yeah. So Rob, they bleeped it all out, but obviously you could kind of gather what he said. The Latino B word and over, and that was Rob, man, and that was the heat, and that was the angle, and you heard the pop, man. You heard the pop in the crowd. It got people's attention. Yeah. That's for sure.
That's all. Once again, the storyline was there. KGLA brought them in. Remember, we talked about there's probably a reason why. Now we know without having to go back, it was because KGLA brought in. Were they called Familia de Tijuana?
La Familia?
Yeah,
I don't know if they were called that yet. I don't know. So did you work with any of these guys at any time?
Yeah, this is it's a little confusing because I don't know if this is before we went to the Olympic. Because I said the only reason we're here is because we are doing the exploding match. Not me, but there's an exploding match in the show. But I've worked with Halloween and Damien either before or after this in a tag match. And then I wrestled Victoria for a couple of times.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah, in fact, I got naked in one of them. But I can't remember. That's where my memory's a little jogged on where this time and era ends or starts, because I don't know if it's before the Olympic or in between the Olympic.
It's in between.
Because we're still at the Olympic technically. Right. We go back afterwards. It's just the reason we're there is because, like I said, the exploding ring, and you can't do it at the Olympic. You have to get the fans away. So I did work with them. I don't remember if I worked with them prior to that or after that, but I did work with them. They were great. I love working with them.
Yeah, because you got it, especially at this time. You had how was that like having an opportunity? Because remember that we're still in the early 2000s, and these guys at the time are quote unquote. And I'm not saying that lightly or facetiously or sarcastically. I'm saying that these guys were big stars. They were big stars, WWF, WCW, ECW, AAA, and XPW's on TV. So they're coming in here. Not only are you wrestling them, but you're doing it on this platform that these guys want to be a part of now.
I think I don't know if it's around this time, but around this time, I had an opportunity to actually go watch them at the auditorium at Tijuana.
Okay.
And Halloween, God, the heat they would get. Oh, it was crazy. The reason they're stars is because how they can generate heat. But these guys were just amazing. The place was crowded in that place. And you're like, wow, yeah, you got to be able to wrestle these guys, And I can't remember how many that arena holds, but there's a whole bunch of people, and there are hills there,
Right.
That's what they're known for, But yeah, when they came to America or here, they're baby faces or technicals.
Yes.
So because they were fighting for the Latino population, because Rob was, racist a little bit in this thing. But yeah, it was great working with these guys. I enjoyed it. They were stars, and just working with them was amazing.
I remember when we went to TJ, I went to a few of those shows in the Auditorio, Tijuana de Auditorio. And I remember going there, watching Sabu defend the XPW title. And I remember going there one time I went there, I got there late, and I just got my seat. I didn't go in the back. And when Nicho, Psychosis, was done with his match, I kind of was like, hey, Nicho, yo. And he was just going to the back. He stopped. I was right there ringside. And he's like, oh, what's up? What's going on? Da-da-da-da. He's just talking, breaking kayfabe, basically. and we were just talking, and then he goes to the back. I'm like, hey, maybe I'll see you, maybe I won't, whatever, da da da. And after that happened, there was like 10, 20 kids were like following me. They didn't know me from XPW, but it's like I don't think they knew me from XPW, right? But they were following me just because I was like, they knew that I knew Psychosis, and it was
Yeah.
like that's how
Because
big
he's
a
a star.
star.
He's a star in
Yeah.
Mexico.
And it was like, and keep in mind, folks, for those that aren't familiar with lucha to too much of a degree, this was every Friday night. Every Friday
They would
night.
sell that place out all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 10, 12,000 people. Every Friday it was packed. Like this
Yeah.
football / soccer and wrestling. That's all that mattered down there. That's it. They don't care about baseball, football, basketball. It's wrestling and soccer is religion.
For any Mexican stands you go to, probably around the country, you'll always see the lucha masks. They'll always on the mask. Part of the culture. It's part of the culture. Yeah.
And that again, how important was that? Not only to get the ECW, WCW guys, but to get the luchadors, like especially in Los Angeles, huge.
I want to say this is where Joey Chaos comes out as the Rock Superstar.
Well, he turned
years here, I believe, as the Rock Superstar.
Right. He was already okay. We want to maybe get some audio here.
He's hard. Not wanting to deal with any trouble on the home front. Genius, the Robert Black, Flame, West W Vice President Kevin Kleinrock, that the Enterprise was not by any means to win any of their matches in Halloween in Hell. Not too concerned with New Jack. Focus game on what to do with the EQ money and the Steel Resort. Now, because of his bidding, New Jack Chaos match, DQ money was forced to wrestle none other than Robert Black Army's protege. And later tonight, you will see that match in its entirety. And for his mission for the night, Steel Resort was to face the unstoppable Bobo the Clown. A very wise decision on Black and Kleinrock's part, as Psycho Clear Clown was able to defeat Sono and Andy Enterprise. Lost number 2.
But Enterprise was not handed, even though I have no love lost for this group. They, especially Chaos, makes me sick. They were top notch tonight. Halloween Cup 2. First, we saw the entrance of the new Chaos, sporting blonde hair, a deep tan, and acting like a real rock and roll superstar. Chico, the attitude carried over into his actions as he took the fight to New Jack. The two battled all over the Pico Rivera Sports Arena, both men giving their all to be the XPW TV champion. Despite his veteran status, Jack simply could not contend with the number of Enterprise members. After a number of trash can shots to the head, put Chaos down for the count, but DQ Money thought fast and knocked the referee out cold. Money and TJ Rush then stomped the living crap.
So yeah, you're right. This was so he turned. Yeah, okay. Well, that answers your question about the.
Bleached his hair, came out to the Rock Superstar song.
So that
because they were,
that answers your question about are we still doing the Olympic, because he turned heel the last show at the Olympic.
This was the last show. Might have been Rapture when he burned Supreme.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's when he joined up. His hair was still dark, but he joined up,
Yes.
But yeah, so
memories. Like I said, it jogs. This is very old. What, 2000? I think looking at it, it jogs some of my memory. Like, wait a minute, I remember certain things sometimes when I see stuff like this.
What did you what was your favorite venue?
It's hard to say. I love. Let me think. Sorry. I honestly, I really didn't have a favorite. They were all interesting to do. Like you, I probably like the Olympic if I'm going to pick one, just because it's the Olympic, because the history behind it. But then again, I loved wrestling at the Viking Hall or
Right.
not the Viking Hall, ECW Arena. I don't know if that's the one I'm talking about, because it's the ECW Arena, you know. But you know, there's the high school shows are fun too, because they were so small, intimate. Right. You just heard the crowd, so there's so many great venues we got to do stuff at.
What was your biggest, hardest bump? Because I think the forgotten one that we don't see was the last one at Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh, yes. My hardest bump. I didn't feel Pittsburgh until I got up. I felt that afterward. Now we're talking about pain-wise. I want to say Enter Sandman, because that's the one where, that's the one where Supreme goes with me and power slams me off this rolling scaffold, and it knocks the hell out of it knocks the wind out of me and knocks the wind out of him. You'll see if you ever see that episode.
Okay, Exit Sandman.
Yeah, we're down for a while.
That's the one Joey. That's the one Joey Styles called.
Yes, that's probably because of the wind thing and all that. That's probably one of the ones that hurt right then and there.
Okay,
but as far as being afterwards, it's got to be the Pittsburgh one. That really screwed me over.
Okay,
I missed the tables on that one. And it sucks because right after that, that's when XPW closed down, so I couldn't get my revenge.
I know. Right when there were so many things going on with so much momentum. Right when it shut down.
Yeah.
And they were bringing. I guess I didn't know this till years later, but Euthanasia beat Mexico's Most Wanted for the tag titles, and set for the next show was Tracy Smothers and Chris Hamrick's Southern Comfort. They were going to win the tag titles, and I didn't know that till years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just found that out like within the last, I forget where I found that out, but it was kind of recent. I found that out. I think it was right around the time Smothers died, and somebody that knew him was talking about him, you know.
Yeah, because that show, we're not talking about, obviously this is not the show, but that show also is where X-Pac won the TV title.
Right.
When, you know, in a way, Joey Chaos should have kept it, you know. He had it for a while, but we didn't know we were going to end right then and there. And then
I know
that TV after that.
I was a guest on the Hot Seat with Wally George, and that's up on YouTube too. It was a cross promotion thing because we were on KDOC, and then when I'm like listing the guys, I'm listing the champions. So I list Supreme, and then I list Pac, and I'm like, why was I listing him? Oh, he just won the TV title, and it's like you kind of forget about that.
Yeah,
because you're just used to Chaos was the guy the only champ. You know,
he made that title, and then the one guy that takes it, all of a sudden the company shuts down after that.
And he would have been able to claim, even though the company shut down, like no one ever beat me for the belt.
Yeah. Towards the end, didn't we have like a European title too?
Yes. Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, and then Supreme had the deathmatch title when he left.
And Shane Douglas Shane Douglas had the world title.
Yeah, Shane Douglas had the world title. The infamous maid outfit here. Look at that.
Yeah. Tell the fans out there your number one complaint about wearing that.
You couldn't really wash it because it was meant to be a Halloween costume. I don't know. But anyways, you couldn't really wash it. And I think after a while it did stink. I hated that thing.
That's funny, man. But yeah,
I'm
this
surprised.
was
There's one time Supreme comes in. This is the second time he ever did it, but the first time was with the students when he was punching all the students. Second time he does it, I'm wearing that stupid maid outfit, and I had to protect myself because it shows everything, you know.
right.
And when he does it, I take a bump, and I'm trying to protect myself also, so stuff wouldn't fly out either. Because I take a hard bump on Rob's office floor, but I'm trying to protect myself so you wouldn't show anything. Because that maid outfit was very revealing.
As it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But yeah, those were some fun times. Rob's desk always messy.
Yeah, this was not part of the show. This was just how it was.
That was how Rob's desk was.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of realism. I mean, everywhere. You know, it's so ironic. Sorry?
Those turtle tanks that always stunk because they never cleaned them.
A lot of things stunk, yeah. A lot of things stunk. But it was so ironic. There was so much realism, right? But we just, like, looking at wrestling now, how much is they've let the cat out of the bag, WWE, you know? And they're basically talking about wrestling now, the intros about how it's a storyline. And this, like, never thought I would see the day or we would be doing something like this. But as real as XPW was, everybody just knew the unwritten rule of we present this with kayfabe. Everyone just knew that unwritten rule.
Yeah.
Like, no, like some people had to be like, hey, warned, don't you dare put yourself over by dropping it, Like, you know, guys would pay their dues if they effed up or they'd be gone. They don't know how to treat it. But for the most part, everyone just knew what to do.
I remember one time we were at the Olympics backstage, and this is before the show started and the crowd's lining up, whatever. And
right.
It was me, Pogo, maybe Supreme, somebody else. We're all kind of hanging out backstage. And Rob yells at us like, you are that fucker, you motherfuckers breaking kayfabe. Get your asses in here. I mean, Rob was into kayfabe.
Right.
Know? He didn't want anything like that to be broken.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, we would never break kayfabe. It just happened to be out there that day. We were kind of just chatting, and you know, we forget that the crowd sometimes can see you from there. You know, and if I'm feuding with Supreme, why am I out there talking to him? And even though the fans know it's, you know, we're gonna work things out and talk stuff over the match, you don't kind of hang out with them in the back there. Oh, there's the here we go. This is where we start the feud, I believe. This is the first time me and GQ ever have wrestled each other.
Okay.
Later on, we do other stuff, but this is where the rubber matches, I guess you would say, all the one back and forth we did with each other.
Right.
This is where it starts.
You guys really worked well together. Great feud. You guys and then you had the Raw sewage match.
Yeah.
Just want to say one more thing about your comment on kayfabe and Rob coming out there, and we'll get to this match here. It was to the point where even like if Rivera and I were walking from the parking lot and we meet up and we were walking to the Olympic, we would walk next to each other and bicker like an old married couple, dude. Like we really would do that because the fans, look at that, look at those two, they don't like each other.
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, we would do that. What are you doing, man? Didn't I tell you to lock the car? You know, it's the best, dude. The best. And you know, they knew what we were doing, but we still did it. You know, right? It's like that kid that's getting a little too old for Santa. You still do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is I mean, these matches before I even started doing any of the crazy bumps. So people sometimes say, "Oh, you did death matches," but they forget I can wrestle.
Right.
And this match here proves it. I just love doing the crazy crazy falls and bumps and because remember, I think I talked about this on when you interviewed the first time. I was never really supposed to be a wrestler. I was supposed to be Crack's manager.
I know.
Early, I started doing some bumps, small bumps, and then it became like, well, let's use you a little bit. And they saw I could do some stuff, so then it was like, well, you could do some, wrestling. And then I think this is where it really I showed faith. I can wrestle. I can wrestle.
Look at you guys are great, dude.
We're in the bull ring. And see, I think all this is ad-lib. Like, we don't even think about it. We just do it.
Wow. Crack is the best. So well with
Crack, yeah.
Really want to get him on here again. Well, I guess we'll get some audio here, George.
Hollywood, California, and Scorpion curated by his life partner, Crack. This is Angel. I don't know what this is. Apparently it's Angel.
Apparently this is going to be a very evenly matched encounter.
We want to welcome all our fans watching throughout the world here, XPW, international fans watching us from Canada, from Germany, Italy, and England. We want to welcome you all as we present the second Halloween in Hell 2 from Southern California. Go behind from GQ Money. Now reversal by Angel. Look at the quickness of these two, Rivera. Oh, no. Oh,
look at that. Go behind.
I just got the Ichi Beachies back here. Oh. See what Angel just did to Money.
You act like you never seen the song set.
Oh.
What's the matter with you? Tranquilate, chick.
Going downstairs now, GQ Money, but it's a side headlock applied by Angel. Look at this, rollover, side headlock. Angel still holding on to it, but it's GQ Money going for the pin, only two. Money going for the leg scissors now. Another counter by Angel. Oh, look at that bridge. Beautiful. GQ Money going for a powerbomb. No, another counter by Angel. Look at this.
There is the Gory special made famous by Gory Guerrero.
Into the sunset flip. No, only two again.
Patriarchal Guerrero family.
Oh, look at this double drop kick. Neither man connecting on that one. Clothesline duck underneath. Clothesline another duck underneath. Both men. Oh, double clothesline. Both men go down.
High impact maneuver sending both men crashing. Did you hear the impact?
The impact. You can hear it all throughout the Pico Rivera arena and all throughout Pico Rivera.
The ducks in the back heard that.
Well, they're quacking away. Another side headlock from Angel. Across the rope. No. Angel wrenching away now. That side headlock. Money with that heel kick. Oh, look at that. Lifts Angel up. Drops the cash flow. He just nailed Angel with the cash flow, Rivera. He's going for the pin. Oh, look at Crack coming in, breaking the count.
Obviously seeing that Angel need his assistant. Chico, that's just the consequence of this relationship.
Angel needed Crack's assistance. Crack needs Angel's ass. Whoa, wait a minute. GQ Money, look at this, from behind grab. Springboard from the top. Wow, high cross body. Right across Crack and Angel. And did you see the elevation, Rivera? Motivational speaker, TJ Rush coming up.
You guys are putting on a clinic here, man.
I don't know who it was, but they said, hey, stop. They go, be careful bumping out there because it's going to look like you're doing backyard wrestling. And you can't help it. It's a bull ring. They never put anything out. I think later on they started putting carpet out there. But the minute you bump out there, you'd be covered in freaking dirt.
Yeah, and it's a hard ground too.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't bother me. It's just the fact that you're just covered in this dirt. Anyway, I'm growing out a few times. You're probably going to see me young to be all dirty. I mean, look at the rings all dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was a great match. I love this match. I think this is one of our favorite matches, probably. Me, and if you ask me and Ryan GQ, it's probably one of our favorite because we went out there. It was our first time working together. Breaking kayfabe, we did kind of, luckily, since we kind of worked at Xtreme Associates, we were able to work this out a little bit in the ring that was at the offices.
Okay.
So yeah, but it worked out. It worked out great because we had stuff planned and everything went pretty much flawlessly. Much like a lot of our other matches, like the Liberty or Death when we did the crap match, the raw sewage. But all this stuff, I mean, we try to use everybody that was there. We try to use Crack. We try to use TJ. I think Kevin gets involved. We use Kevin. So we're using everybody, so everybody has a little bit of the spotlight on them. And the great thing, I think you and Rivera call this kind of afterwards, we're able to tell you what a lot of our moves are called. Because I did a lot of the moves here. The bathhouse bomb, the circumciser.
Yeah, well,
so I was like, "You're gonna do this thing."
I remember GQ marked out when I called the circumciser in GQ Money's case the bris.
Oh,
because he's Jewish. And then when he did that, I thought, because my friends were Jewish growing up, and I knew what that meant. And I said, "Oh, the bris." And I came in the office, and he was like, "Kloss, the bris, you dude! No, I can't believe." He freaking loved that, dude.
But that was a great thing about you guys being able to call it afterwards, because we got to meet you. Like, hey, we're going to be doing a couple of moves. This is what we're going to call it. And so you guys had it already in your head, yeah. Because I debuted a lot of these moves right then and there. I think the circumciser, the bathhouse bomb, the angel job,
the flying fairy.
Yeah, those were all debuted in this match. So got our chance. Got our chance to get it out there and let people know what these moves are called.
Let's get some audio as it's going to end here, George.
Dropper from the top, driving Angel's head smack down to the canvas. And now it's GQ Money eyeing Angel. Look at the big leg drop with the momentum from the near side. And now he's going for the pin. And once again, it's Crack interrupting the count, Rivera.
He's Crack. He's on fire tonight. He must have, some guy in the crowd must have looked at Angel in a funny way.
Oh no! Oh, it's the circumciser! It's the circumciser! Angel!
What? Circumciser.
In GQ Money's case, it's the bris. Unbelievable, man. Crack once again. Look at the smile on his face. Inverted atomic drop from Angel under GQ Money. And now look at this. Look out, GQ Money. Hold on. Oh, no, what a counter that was from GQ Money, slamming Angel into the far side.
This Angel must have a private part made of steel.
Oh, wait a minute. Motivational speaker TJ Rush with that steel chair, handing it into GQ Money. What is this? Money planting it down, smack dab in the center of the ring.
GQ Money looking to end this match once and for all.
As Angel's still trying to regroup from that slam on the far side. Irish whip. Oh, look at this. Fireman's carry. High above his head. Oh, Michinoku driver. And down goes Angel on that steel chair, Rivera. 1, 2, only 2 again.
You know, Kris Kloss is a real shame about this match. The fact that the outside interference has prevented these two from having a pure classical technical match that I was beginning to enjoy. Truly enjoy, chick.
What are you talking about,
But this TJ Rush, this Crack, is ruining it for everybody.
Oh, reverse DDT right on top of that steel chair. GQ Money setting up his own demise with that chair. What is Veronica Kane doing to the referee?
This is what I'm talking about.
Angel going upstairs.
Look at those knives.
Look at him. Look at Angel going upstairs. Don't. Oh, God. I'm losing my luck.
Oh.
It's the Flying Fairy.
What?
Angel just nailed GQ Money with the Flying Fairy. And now, oh no, wait a minute, from behind. Motivational speaker TJ Rush with a chair shot to the back. Look at him still. The referee distracted. Oh, wait, look at Crack. He's going for the Cracker Jack. He's going for the Crack. Oh, he nailed him. Crack nailed him with the Cracker Jack.
Hey.
What the hell is Dorco doing here? With all his might, a chair shot to the head, right between the eyes. And Kevin Kleinrock running for his life. Referee down, 3, it's over. Angel got the 3 count, Rivera.
Here's your winner, Angel.
Did I see what I just thought I saw?
What the hell was Kleinrock doing here?
The dude came out and gave what a chair shot with the force. If a mosquito
With all of his might.
already had a GQ money.
What is this now? GQ Money getting his spanking from crack. And now out to the, I was going to say concrete floor, out to the dirt field.
Chico, did you see the tremendous super body strength of the Hardcore Homo?
Honestly, I couldn't believe he picked the chair up in the first place. Oh no! Oh no, not angel cleavage!
Chico, I think the Kevin Kleinrock is pissed off at the GQ money for money's system and trying to get big chaos out of the match with Blue Jack. What do you think, Chico?
That's got to be the only reason Kevin Kleinrock would ever help out Angel. Unless there's, a little more reasons we don't know between Angel and Kleinrock.
The Hardcore dude?
Come on, you can get this.
So that was the first match, and you guys would go on to split because he would win the raw sewage, correct?
Yeah, and then there's some other ones we did. I think we did 3-way with me, him, and I forgot the guy. He was only there for a brief minute or so. Somebody Kevin brought in. We did some stuff
Ascot?
with
Preston Ascot?
Yeah. We did a 3-way with that, and then I don't remember if we did any other stuff.
Oh, you guys are playing Hangman.
Oh, then we did the deathmatch tournament. The deathmatch tournament was also another
Okay.
one. And we did the first round with him. So it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
And then it all ended up in Cold Day in Hell the last time we actually were.
Yes, right. And that was because that was the, of course, you fans know, XPW 2.0 was the Cold Day in Hell and XPW X, which we're looking into if somehow finding out if we could get XPW X, XPW 10, the 10-year anniversary in 2009 to see the light of day, because there were some technical problems with that. But we may have found, don't want to get anybody too excited, but we may have found that footage. So that would be awesome. But yeah, you guys had that payoff match in the next XPW era, that 2.0 era, from your from 1-on-1 here in 1.0. You getting
this
first.
is where it all started, was this match. And people, I don't know if it was great because this shows XPW wasn't just about death matches.
That was a great, I think everything worked in that match. You guys on the outside, you could tell Rivera and I were having fun with
Kevin's cheap ass little. I didn't know he didn't hit GQ that hard with the chair until afterwards. I'm like, oh, come on, Kevin, you could have laid it in a little harder.
But it did.
But it worked for his character. It worked for his character.
It made the Dorco dude more. Yeah. But what you call it? Yeah, you guys put on a great match. You didn't really know until it happened, and then okay, these guys got to work together some more because that was fun. That was great. You guys did well. Everybody on the outside did well. I felt that Rivera and I were enjoying calling it because it was a great match. It's always more fun when the action's better for the announcers. And the fans were loving it. And so, yeah, dude, this was one of those matches where it's like, whoa. I remember when this aired after we called it. Because when you're doing your work and you don't really paying attention, it's when you go home and you watch the product, it's like, okay, now I see what this is, right? And I remember thinking like, damn, that was good. I remember thinking that after watching that match, that was really freaking good. You know, I already knew it, but I didn't really know it until I watched it. And
that's what we wanted. That's when me and Ryan were coming up together with it. We wanted to be like that. Have some solid wrestling and then throw all the craziness in the after towards the end. So it worked out in our favor because, like I said, I don't know if they were planning on keeping us together, but it worked out because right after that, they're like, you guys actually work well together. So let's do something else. And we would have probably got the Raw Sewage match, which, you know, if we're talking about bumps, I would have been able to throw him, you know, sidewalk slam GQ off that same venue off the 30-foot tower there. You know, It wouldn't have worked out for the deathmatch tournament when I I think I backdropped him off one of the cars. So there's a lot of stuff because we did such a great match together at this show that Rob or Kevin, whoever else was the matchmaker, said, yeah, let's keep these two together.
Right. Yeah. No, it's that was one of those moments where the promoters, the fans, you're going to see you guys on paper. You're not going to think much of it. And it's one of those matches. It's like, until it happens, they're like, whoa, we got something here. Yep. And you never know when you're going to get that, when that result is going to happen of an organic chemistry that you guys have that there's no way of knowing until it happens. You never know when you're going to get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, man, going back in time here, I know it was only a 4-year run, but there was so much that happened in this 4 years, and it was such a hot time in the business, and we were so controversial, and we had the television platform. And I look back and I was like, gosh, it's only 4 years. But then again, you look back at, like, let's say Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. I'll say it from an announcer's point of view. And if you want to compare a wrestler, it's like, well, they were in that golden era, but them on primetime wrestling was only from, like, was it 85 or 86 to 91. So that was that window. You know what I mean? So you look back and you think, gosh, only 4 years, but that's kind of what all these eras are of these particular stars that have their run, and this was our run, and it's just amazing that online, at least, like, people still talking about this. It's
they are.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
and
then again, yeah, go ahead.
Even though it unfortunately ended with, it was one of those things where they pulled the rug out underneath us, because the reason was Rob's legal problems happened that we ended up closing down XPW. But in a way, we ended on a hot spot. I mean, we were we're doing the East Coast. We just came back to the LA area, so we were going to start doing both. And I think there was even talks of we would do New York. There was a venue they were going to get in New York. So we were about to do all this stuff. Pittsburgh was the one we were going to start at, but then we were going to go to New York. But then, unfortunately, Rob's legal problems happened because of the FBI and the porno stuff that got him in trouble. But we ended on a hot note, unfortunately. But, it wasn't something where, like, we started. It wasn't something that the fans were like, oh, this is stupid now, boring. They stopped watching. Music got canceled, Yeah,
totally. Like, we were just starting to branch out. We were just starting to get out on the East Coast, and then another venue, Pittsburgh, on the East Coast. And then we were starting to get into more television markets. And then we were starting to, we launched our first pay-per-view. It was like, we had no idea until, like, it happened. We're like, and then, but we didn't really.
The video, remember, because the backyard wrestling was like the part of it, but then there was talk about doing because we were with Houston and all them, they were going to try to give us the video game too. So there was all this stuff. And then, unfortunately, because of what happened, we had to end XPW because Rob had to pay legal fees, and he didn't know what happened with him. So,
dude, he should have never gone after that federal government, man.
But that was wrong.
He should have never done that, dude. It would have been, history would have been different.
Yeah, who knows how far we would have gotten, we were hitting our peak. We were starting to get there,
I know. And we got all these stars, and it was catching on, man. It was like, you saw, like, what was it, Jamie Noble in WWF? Like, he had that white trash gimmick. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then he had the girl, like, Webhead Jessica. You saw little bits of it going out into the wrestling world and maybe somewhat pop culture, but they would never admit it. You would never know that's where it came from. Can you turn this up? I want to see what song this was. These are some good vignettes they did. Wake up!
Okay.
I guess that's all we're gonna hear. But yeah. Yeah, people would always comment on these videos too, like, "Damn, that video was
Oh, they
cool."
love
Oh, use
that
that song.
video.
Yeah.
This was a great time. I mean, they're right there, first time in America that you
Right.
had an exploding, any type of exploding match, because they were trying to do it with Onita and Sabu, and it didn't pan out. So when did it? I think they ended up using the same fire technicians or pyrotechnicians to do it.
Wait, you mean Onita's?
Yeah, I remember Onita and Sabu were supposed to do something.
I will just to clarify, Onita didn't happen because Rob did not want to pay his own personal crew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rob didn't want to fund it or didn't want to pay them, which was like in the tens of thousands to do everything. So screw it, we're gonna do our own. But then Onita didn't want to do, and then that was it. But that should have been the first one. We talked about that before. That, in my opinion, is the biggest time XPW ever dropped the ball. Is that Onita Sabu not happening, and that would have been in the year 2000. That would have been the first ever, and possibly because they've done pyro for concerts, possibly done at the LA Sports Arena. Yeah. Is right. It's like the home of WrestleMania 2 and 7 is going to be like where Onita and Sabu are going to have the first ever exploding death match in Los Angeles, like in the US. So this was great, but this was a little far removed, or it wasn't the spectacle anymore, even though it was only like a year or two later.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, fans. That was it. That was XPW TV. XPW TV, which aired, at least in LA, every Saturday night at 11 p.m. on KGLA, the Los Angeles syndicate of the America One Network, coast to coast.
Is that channel still on? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's KGLA still. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But XPW TV episode number 69 from October 20th, 2001. Great to have you back on yet again, Angel.
Thank you for having me.
That was great.
Great memories.
Yeah. Great memories, man, and a wild ride, and we thank all you fans that were there, that made it all possible. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel. The more subscribers we get, the more great content we can bring to you. We don't want to just interview the stars and the tech people. We want to interview the fans. So everybody, just drop a comment, share this video, and give it a thumb up, and subscribe to this channel. Well, we got to see a lot of it, Angel, and I think in a way that put you on the map as far as your wrestling was concerned. Right there, we finally saw you could really work and really wrestle, and you guys complimented each other quite a bit in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad. The same thing with Ryan, because GQ. He was supposed to just be a manager, and he wanted to wrestle, and this was our chance to both show we could do it. Luckily, Rob and Kevin and everybody gave us a chance to do it. It was like, two managers wrestling, let's see what happens, and it worked out. So we
Isn't that ironic? The best match possibly on that show were the two guys that weren't supposed to be wrestlers. Isn't that just how wrestling works sometimes, man?
Sometimes you got to take what they give you and just show them, like, this is what I could do. This is what I'm capable of, even if it's that little sliver.
That's right.
Like, hey, I may be a manager, but I might bump this hard, or I might hit this. I might do something this crazy, and little by little, they give you more and more and more and more. And then, actually, you're you're watching memories of your 20-some years later of stuff. You're like, wow, I can't believe that actually got to do all that.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, really, we were just kind of working, going week to week. But now when you look back, it's like, wow, look at all that. Look at all that we did, man. It was quite a wild ride. And hey, we hope that you fans are also enjoying this wild ride right here. This has been a lot of fun on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel, going down memory lane, and so thankful that you fans are still riding that wave with us, man. This is awesome. So we will see you once again next time, Angel. So great to see you back here on Xtreme Memories. Hope to have you back again down the road. And just good to see you as always, my friend.
You too, Chris.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you right here next time. Xtreme Memories on the 15th and 30th of every single month, right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. My name is Kris Kloss for Angel. We'll see you right here next time for another episode of Xtreme Memories.